New answers this morning in the years-long fight for accountability in Uvalde. The first criminal charges against law enforcement are now underway. The massacre at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde more than 2 years ago left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. A grand jury now indicting former school district police chief Pete Arredondo and another former officer, Adrian Gonzales.
I think it's a really strong message, not just to the community of Uvalde, but any law enforcement officer, that you cannot hide behind immunity, that there's something called consequences.
Investigators found children inside Robb Elementary waited 77 minutes for help from police, despite frantic 911 calls during the shooter's rampage. Former Chief Arredondo, one of the first officers to arrive on the scene, now faces 10 charges of child endangerment. He surrendered last night and was released on $10,000 bond. And this morning, we're expecting the indictments against Arredondo, the former Uvalde CISD police chief, and the second officer to be unsealed.
And we're waiting to know exactly what charges they face and why the grand jury chose to indict them. KVUE's Brian Mays is live in Uvalde this morning ahead of that release with more not only on the charges, but also a reaction from victims' families. He joins us now. Brian.
Good morning from downtown Uvalde. Here behind me, you can still see the memorial set up for the 19 children and 2 teachers who were killed in that massacre 768 days ago. That's how long, 2 years and 2 months. And these are the first 2 criminal charges filed in the police response that horrific day here in Uvalde back in May of 2022. You mentioned the 2 men, both former school district police officers. Chief Pete Arredondo, who was fired not long after the response there at Robb Elementary School, and a former officer, Adrian Gonzales. Both men charged with child endangerment. That's what we know at this point. But after Gonzales checks into the jail today and is booked and processed, we should receive more information on those indictments. Arredondo, as you mentioned, turned himself in and was released yesterday. Family members of the victims happy to hear about the charges, but say that this is just one small step toward the justice they've been calling for since May of 2022.
It's a step, and it's a step that is well needed. I don't want to step over that or push that to the side. Yes, Arredondo needs to face responsibility. Gonzales needs to face responsibility, but there's 300 and some odd more officers that need to face responsibility as well.
This is a small town of about 15,000 people. We've been here for a couple of days now, and even though this horrific event took place more than 2 years ago, the pictures and thoughts of these 19 children and 2 teachers are still very, very prevalent here. I can see from where I stand murals on the wall across the street of 3 of the children who were killed. Behind me, all the crosses and mementos that are left here as a memorial to those children. Of course, the indictments, the charges, it is a small step, but it does nothing to change what happened here in Uvalde back in May of 2022. The hope is that it gives these families hope that some accountability is still possible. Live in Uvalde, I'm Brian Mays. Back to you.
A city forever changed. Brian, thank you so much.
Victims' families are also shedding light on the circumstances of Arredondo's surrender, calling it unfair.
And according to victim families, Arredondo was taken to and from the police station in an unmarked vehicle. Our news partners in San Antonio spoke with Berlinda Ariola, Amarie Jo Garcia's grandmother, and she says it's just another way that Arredondo has been able to skirt accountability.
They've been able to step down, resign instead of getting terminated or reprimanded. They just were able to leave with their severance pays or with, and for him to get special treatment like that, I just don't think that that's fair that they get any type of special treatment. They should face us the way we want to face them.
Arredondo has said he never considered himself the scene incident commander, and that officers prioritized evacuating children over taking down the attacker. But the Justice Department finding law enforcement did not follow generally accepted practices in an active shooter situation.